Oh man, I got some funny ones for you. I want to share these with you. I've had an interesting parenting week this past week or so. I already told you I spent Super Bowl Sunday instead of drinking and eating food and yelling at a TV with a bunch of my friends. Usually I'm doing it with producer Chris because we watch the Super Bowl together. Usually when it's the Patriots. Uh, so I enjoyed that, spending time with my kid. And there's a lot of that going on this week. There was one very annoying thing this week. So 2 nights ago, I'm laying on the couch. I'm watching TV with my wife, and I think she's asleep. She tends to fall asleep on the couch. It's like 11:30 at night, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. And what I do is we have a front gate at our house, and I tend to just leave it unlocked. During the day, I'll lock it if we leave, or if like if a helicopter's flying overhead and I know there's a police ship, then I go out and lock it. But I always lock it at night before we go to bed. So I go out and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go lock the door. And I go to grab my keys. Like we have a mail table with keys sit there. And I look, I'm like, my keys are not here. So I check my pockets. I'm like, where are my keys? I start tearing apart the living room. My wife wakes up. She says, what are you doing? I was like, I can't find my keys. They gotta be around here somewhere. And granted, I hadn't really left the house too much that day. I think it was a little rainy. I was at the grocery store, but it came home. I was able to get into the door with my keys. So like I had the keys at home. They couldn't have been far. The furthest I went after getting home, like, and staying at home that day was to the mailbox out of the front. So I was like, did I leave them in the mailbox? Like, sitting in the mailbox key there. And I was like, I don't know. Tearing apart the house. I don't know where they could be. I'm saying, I don't know. This is crazy. And my OCD doesn't let me get off of this. It's just not a possibility. If I lose something, especially something as important as my keys, and I have a special keychain that my daughter gave me, but obviously my wife bought for my very first Father's Day. So I'm just freaking out about all of it. I even go into I'm looking through my room, tearing apart our bedroom, even going to my daughter's room, and I've got a flashlight in my hand, and I'm like half covering it. I'm looking around on the floor because I was in there with her at bedtime. What's going on? I'm looking at her changing table, even looking at her hamper. I go outside and I look in the trash can because I had taken out some trash to the trash can. I'm shining a flashlight down in there. Neighbors probably thought I was freaking insane. And finally, and I'm doing this until like 1 o'clock in the morning. An hour and a half of looking. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where the hell. I'm looking down in my backyard, in my driveway, and just everywhere. I don't know. I don't know where they could be. Freaking out. And after a while, I'm like, okay, I gotta try to go to bed. I told my wife, I was like, please just go to bed. Like, you don't need to be, but she knows the stress that I go through because of losing something like that. So I finally go to bed. I'm tossing and turning in bed. I don't fall asleep until 4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning. Next morning, I'm laying in bed, and my wife goes to get my daughter up. She's getting ready for work. She usually gets ready for work and then goes, starts getting ready for work and then gets her up for the morning, And I'm laying in bed, and I hear her open my daughter's door, and I hear like a jingle, 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 and I just hear my wife go, "What do you have?" She had my keys in her crib with her. Now, of course, I had checked in her room, but I didn't want to shine a flashlight in her crib and wake her up at 1 o'clock in the morning. She had my keys the entire time. Lost sleep. And she held them out to my wife so proudly, like she had found them. Here you go. I was just like, oh my God. So now, the past 2 days, I'm checking where my keys are every 5 minutes. But be careful out there, parents. Make sure your kids don't get a hold of your keys. Oh. On the same note with my daughter, I actually had her, went for a walk yesterday. We usually go for a walk a couple miles, every day, unless it's raining or super cold like it's been here in Los Angeles. Super cold being relative. We've been in the 30s, though, those of you back east in the Midwest. I mean, it's not that crazy polar vortex, but that's cold. We don't know how to function in this. But we go for a walk yesterday. Come home, and usually we get home, and my daughter likes to play in the yard. We got a sandbox and like a water table, and the water table I'm not going right now because it's cold, but a whole bunch of stuff. And she plays. She got a slide and stuff, and does all that stuff. Thing is, she put on some special limited edition Vans to go for a walk. Shout out to Juliet. My friend Juliet was here, actually hanging out for a little while, and put the shoes on her because she wanted to put them on. So we get home and it's muddy in the yard. It's been raining the day before. It's been raining like crazy here in Los Angeles. I'm like, no, we got to change your shoes. And I had to have a discussion with my 2-year-old about changing out of limited edition Vans so that she didn't get them muddy. I don't think she fully understood. But my thing is, she's going to appreciate it in a few years. Limited edition being relevant. I mean, these are the special Peanuts ones. I actually have matching Vans of hers. And it's funny, I actually tweeted. It's like, I spent part of my day explaining to my 2-year-old that she could not wear her limited edition Vans in the mud. And of course, Vans tweets back, replies to my tweet like the official Vans account, and they're like, best dad. And I was like, oh, best shoe company ever is calling me a best dad. We're good. We're good. I'm good to go.